At the time, the state of Pennsylvania prided itself on like how tight the security was on their lottery games, like the daily number. No one was able to cheat the system. The machines and ping pong balls were kept in a secure room that needed 2 keys to open it. And there was even an outside company that would like analyze the balls to make sure that no one was messing with them. It's funny how like protective they are over these balls and not other things. I won't name other things, but I'm sure you could think of other, like it's kind of silly, whatever. Protect the balls! Anywho, Papa Nick, he knew all of this, right? And he even had access to everything. I mean, hello, he's the host. He knew exactly how to rig the system, if he wanted to work in his favor, you know? He's like, I might know how to do it, I don't know. So Papa Nick decides, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna rig the system and I'm gonna make a lot of money. Yeah, Papa Nick, this little saint, all of a sudden, is gonna rig the system? What? Huh? So he started to put together what he thought was a foolproof plan. And he knows he couldn't do it alone. He can't do it alone. He needs a crew, you know, just like in the movies. So step 1, he needed access to that secure room. So what's he gotta do? He's gotta get some tits. He's gotta suck a dick. What's he gotta do, you know? To get it, he schmoozed a guy named Edward. So Edward was a state lottery officer who guarded the machines and the balls. Papa Nick told him that if he could get access to the balls, he could weigh down a few of them and increase the odds of picking the right numbers. Papa Nick said if they did it right, they could walk away with millions. So this guy's like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And with a payday like that, I mean, that's really all Edward needed to hear. Papa Nick gets Edward in on the plan. So step 2, Papa Nick needed someone who could create replica versions of the lottery balls for use every single night. For this, he turned to someone who used to be an art director at Channel 4. Apparently, Papa Nick went to the sky one day and said, hey, what would you say if I told you you could make $100,000? And I guess that was all it took, and the art director was like, I'm in. I know. Raise your prices, people. You are worth more. So Papa Nick gave the art director 12 syringes, okay? He also gave him a scale and told this person to go buy 30 ping pong balls that were the same as like the ones that they used on the show in those machines. So then the art director recreated each ball by hand. He should have got paid more. And here's like the genius part. I was like, smart. He used the syringes to inject a little bit of white paint into every ball that wasn't a 4 or a 6. I know you're thinking, white paint, I don't get it. Well, the white paint would blend in with like the natural color of the ping pong ball. But more importantly, it would weigh the balls down. So heavy balls with paint in them, they would still bounce around in the tank, but they wouldn't go up the chute. He's onto something, huh? Translation, the lightest balls were 4s and 6s. So a player should buy a ticket and only pick a combination of the numbers 4 and 6. So Papa Nick's scheme took the odds from 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 8. That's a pretty good chance, huh? Now, Papa Nick knew that it might raise some eyebrows if he went around town buying up tons of lottery tickets for the show he himself hosts, right? So he leaned on his childhood buddies, Peter and Jack. In my mind, I'm like, this guy's getting too many people involved. Can't do it, but he did, okay? And on April 24th, 1980, on the day of the drawing, Peter and Jack, they hopped into like their white Cadillac and they drove around Philadelphia. So they went around to a bunch of different like small stores and dive bars where they placed about 14,000 bets for $1 each on all the possible combinations of 4 or 6. Now back at the studio, the art director had those weighted ping pong balls all hidden away. But while that security guard, Ed, just happened to be looking the other way, the art director like swapped the balls, you know, the normal ones with the weighted ones. And the machines were rolled in front of the cameras, ready to go. Around 7 p.m., the drawing for the daily number went live, and the announcer introduced Papa Nick like he normally does.
The man with all the dollars, the kingpin himself.
I know, interesting choice of words given what was happening under everyone's noses, huh? Well, Papa Nick, alongside a sweet, clueless local citizen, and they stood at tank number 1, uncapped the tube, and up shot the first ball. Number 6. Then they moved on to the second tank. The second ball shot up. Number 6. And finally, the third tank and the final ball. Number 6. I know. I was like, oh my God, demons. So literally, the winning number was 666. So kind of fitting for the situation, huh? If you squint, it makes sense. Totally makes sense. So the payout for this drawing was $3.5 million, which we always have to do a conversion here, right? In today's money, it's like 13 million. And for a state lottery, this was an insane amount of money at the time. According to records, Papa Nick's childhood buddies selected 666 on about 2,400 of the bets they placed. And most of that winning money was headed for the pockets of Pittsburgh pretty boy, Papa Nick. I know, it's like, you're on TV and stuff. Don't you make enough, bro? No, I guess not. Papa Nick would have gotten away with this whole lottery situation if it hadn't been for a mobster named Tony. I know, kind of checks out, huh? Tony, a mobster? Wow. Tony himself was in the numbers business, which is a mafia way to say that he ran an illegal lottery in Pittsburgh. And Tony's lottery wasn't some rinky-dink game. It brought in $30 million a year over the course of 40 years. So Tony's pretty solid, I'd say. Now, Papa Nick's buddies didn't just place bets at local stores. They also put money down with some underground bookies. That's where they went wrong. Because these bookies noticed a weirdly high number of bets coming in with the numbers 4 and 6. And then when the daily number of 666 hit, these bookies, they smelled something was wrong. Okay? So they decided they were not going to pay out the winnings, and instead they alerted their boss, Tony. Because Tony looked at the state lottery as competition, he was more than happy to squeal to a local reporter, essentially telling them, look how corrupt this state lotto is. Somebody rigged it. Well, this reporter was like, what? Huh? Let me look into this. And ended up blowing the whole scandal wide open. The reporter's story pushed the governor to open an investigation. And one by one, the dominoes all fell.